Hey guys, we're live from space. uh, I'm fixing to head over to Orion Nebula, and I wanted to show you an interesting phenomenon. What you see here is Jupiter and one of its moons, but I've turned the exposure all the way up, the gain all the way up, the brightness about 80%, contrast pretty high. I wanted to show you that you can see when you look. This is how good that camera is I'm testing. You can see stars twinkling in the background. Of course, if I turn the gain down, exposure down, and all that other stuff, you wouldn't see that because you'd see the rings and everything of the bands of Jupiter. But I have a great aspiration for the Orion Nebula, and I wanted to do a prelude to that by just showing you this unusual thing that I've seen, because I've been experimenting with the camera, and I think that we are going to be able to look at stars, star clusters, and nebula with this thing. Anywho, hang loose with me in a minute or two or three. Depends on when Orion gets up. It's going to be up pretty soon. I'm going to try to see it if the weather is permitting. I'll talk at you on the back end, guys. Hey guys, we're live on Orion, I think. let me show you what I'm looking at. First of all, I've determined that there are uh, some of these little dots that are on there. Let me move the telescope, and you can see what I mean. I think that what we're looking at is the the belt of Orion will be way up there. We're below the belt of Orion, and we're in what I call the Orion Nebula. I believe is actually near NAIRL safe. This is what I think I'm looking at. And let me turn the contrast up. There, when I turn the contrast up, you can't see the telltale signs of the nebula, the gas cloud, the billions and zillions of stars that are in this area. I believe that these three stars right here are HR 1891, and I believe that this area below is part of NAIR self. Now let me see how the stars move, when I move the scope. I'm going to turn the contrast down a little bit, and when I turn it down just a little bit, too much, it whitens it all up. But if I turn it up just about, I'll turn it up just a little bit more. About right there, you can see a gas cloud. Let me turn it up just a little bit more so you can see it, maybe even clearer. It's hard for me to tell. I think that you can see it now on your. Now let me move. See how when I move the telescope, the gas cloud goes with the stars. So I think it's part. I think that is the what I call the Orion Nebula. Now I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to be able to find these things and really point them out. I'm using a 25 millimeter lens right now, and when I move this, you can see the stars moving. There are some artifacts on the camera I've found that are built into the camera, and they're not part of the star pattern, but you can see the stars that are, when I move the telescope, those that are moving are part of the constellation. And I'm looking on my, see, like these two right here are not part of the stars. But all this is called a gas cloud, and it's just trillions of stars. Trillions of stars. Now what I want to do now is I want to take my my camera, and again, I'm experiment. You're a guinea pig, guys. This is my second video for this evening. It'll be my last one. I was going to try to do Mars, but I don't got to put that. Here I am. Screwing up again on my mic. I got to mic up. I think that this is our Orion, what I call the Orion Nebula. The problem is when you look at Orion, there's about 4 or 5 nebulas, and I'm going to explore every one of them, and I'll get better at naming them. I think this is called Nair-L-Saif, Nairlsaif. And the way you can tell is these 3 stars right here, and then below it you got 2, and then you got this kind of the nebulas right in there. Now what I want to do now is I want to zoom in to that area with my, let me show you, before I zoom in, let me make sure it's in focus. See, I'm using the camera control now. See how it goes out of focus? I think it's in focus right now. And you are looking at zillions of stars. I found another thing when I fiddle around with these controls. Sometimes you can see a dip down here, and when I mess with the gain control, sometimes you see weird things. I'll try to learn not. Oops! I don't know what I did. You can see the gas cloud moving with the stars. See, that's the nebula. Now, what I want to do now is I want to zoom in with this. The camera. Okay. And see, now we're looking even closer at this nebula. Let me. You can actually kind of see it's kind of smoky, and I think that's what we're looking at. I think we're looking at the Orion Nebula, what I call the Orion Nebula. It is not in the belt of Orion, it's below the belt of Orion. Now, one thing that you need to know about these kind of images, they're not, you know, when you see a picture from the Hubble, or you see, if I let me put it to you this way: if I cut back on the gain and I got it just right, and I let it sit here for 30 minutes, then it would suck in all of this stuff, and then I'd be able to basically create a really impressive picture of that nebula. But when you do that, you got to make sure the camera artifacts are not part of that picture, because you don't want the camera artifacts to be part of it. That's why they have, on some of these cameras, they have a way that you can take a picture of the camera artifacts. And basically what you do is you block off the camera and you just take a picture of the artifacts. But I believe we're looking at that area right in there, which looks kind of spooky and gassy, is what I call the Orion Nebula. And let me, on the camera I have an automatic focus, but I'm going to just try to use that focus manually, just to hone in there. See, another thing, when you get out of focus on these stars, see how you got a little donut? And when it's not a donut and it looks lopsided or whatever, then you know that you need to align your scope, what they call culminate your scope. Let me give you an example. See, there's a star there, there's a star there. When I go out of focus, see, the stars all have donuts, even the star at the edge. So my scope is pretty much in alignment properly. You should see all the donuts all around should be correct. And see, when I move left, you can see how the gas cloud follows the follows a camera, follows a telescope. So that is a nebula, that is a gas cloud. This is live TV, live, live on YouTube at least. I mean, as live as you can get. And I'm doing a video recording, which is actually remarkable if you think about it. I'm doing a video recording of a nebula, and you can actually see the gas cloud. That is absolutely stunning. Now, if I go over here and mess around with the gain, let me turn the gain down. See, I turn the gain down. I need about all the gain I can get. So I got the gain 100%. My exposure is right 100%. Let me turn the exposure down. And see, when I do, see, you just about need every bit of gain and exposure you can get to see these really, really, really faint gas, the nebula. So you need to have the exposure on this camera all the way up, the gain all the way up. The brightness is about 45%. If I change, I'll increase the brightness, and see, it kind of brightens everything up. But I'm looking at my screen capture program, which should be the image you see, and I think that right about there is about perfect, because that way you can at least see the gas cloud, and it's still darker around the edges. The contrast is the critical one. If I go up in the contrast, right now it's about 15-20%. See, I increase it to 25. See how then you can't see the gas cloud. But if I lower it just a little bit, see, just a little bit, then you can start to see the gas cloud. See, then you can see this gas cloud. It's not really a gas cloud. It's a nebula. Trillions of stars. Let me if I lower it too much, see it, then it gets all wiped out. So everything is critical. It's a manual adjustment on these controls. But if you adjust it just right, you're going to be able to see that nebula with this camera, which I think is absolutely incredible. Which means if I go to like the Ring Nebula, you should be able to see the Ring Nebula. Let me do one more adjustment. The color intensity right now I have at about 15%. I'm going to lower it to 0. See, I lower it to 0. That means there's no color. It's coming in black and white. If I raise it up, it's about 20. See, if I raise it too much, it's about 30, 40. It oversaturates. So, you know, that's about right, where you can see on the screen the gas cloud. The white balance, now auto is off. I'm going to turn auto on. And I think that when I did that, I got too much artifacts in there. I turned it off. Yeah, I think that the best setting is, oops. Gotta keep it centered here. Again, I'm testing, and you're guinea pigs watching this thing with me. But I think for a video camera and a live video, this is incredible. And as I move, all the stars and everything that moves, that's up there, including that nebula. So you're looking at a nebula in the Orion constellation, and it might be faint and everything, but it's a real nebula, guys. It's trillions and trillions and trillions of stars, and that gives me an awful lot of potential to show you. Let me try to adjust the focus one more time. See, it's out of focus. That's about as good as I can get it. And as I move on the screen, you can see it moving with the stars. So that is a real nebula that we're looking at on a video camera, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, that's good enough. Gives you a good idea of what I'm going to be able to do with this camera, and also you get an idea that I'll be able to show you things that, you know, not necessarily just the moon. I'll be able to show you things that are up in space. If I, you know, see something that's interesting, I'm going to just go in there and look at it. I'm not going to put a 5mm lens on this. This is where the lenses come in. You really want to see this thing. You know, if you get too close, then, like, let me pull back right now. I'm zoomed. I'll zoom back. This is my 25mm, and that's normally where it would be, unzoomed, and you can see clearly see the nebula. And as I move the camera left and right, you can see the nebula moving with the stars. So you're looking at a live feed of a nebula from space. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hope you've enjoyed it. Have a great week, guys. And I'll try to show you something. I've got a lot of things I can show you now, since I can show you nebulas. It's faint, but you can see it. Clearly, you can see it. Let me see if I turn the contrast and the brightness. It's kind of like a fancy. It's a dance that you got to play with this thing to get it just right. You get it right there with the stars where you can't see it, then just drop it a bit, just to let it come up. And then you can see it clear. This is not a dark night either. I would imagine as we get into this new moon and it gets darker, I'll be able to even show this to you better, and I'll be trying that. Okay. I wish for you and yours clear skies, guys.